What is good, everybody? So we are getting some quarterback talk today as it pertains to the New Orleans Saints because we have reached that point of the offseason where we're getting things like this with ESPN dropping articles predicting who they think will be the starting quarterback for all 32 NFL teams next year. Now, I seen this. I clicked it. I couldn't read it because it's ESPN Plus. I don't pay for ESPN Plus, but luckily for us, there are people who do. So shout out to the fine folks over at Boot Crew Media. By the way, if you didn't know, I do film studies over there for Boot Crew Media on their YouTube channel. Videos usually drop around Thursday every week, so go check those out. But as you can see here, ESPN, they are predicting that Justin Fields is going to be the Saints starting quarterback next year. And I really don't know how to feel about this. I would say like why? Like I don't really I don't get the intrigue with Justin Fields at this point in his career. I guess, you're still hoping that he can show or prove that he had the talent that maybe a lot of people thought that he had coming out. I know coming out I wasn't a huge fan of his. I didn't think that he was that good, to be quite honest. And listen, so far I was kind of been right. If you look at his stats, I mean, he's been in the league 4 years, and he's had four different seasons to prove that he can be a quality starting NFL quarterback, and he just hasn't done that, right? I mean, if you look at his career completion percentage, 61.1, not great. His touchdown to interception ratio has had 45 touchdowns to 31 picks. That's not good. I mean, I know quarterback wins aren't a thing, but he went 2-8, 3-12, 5-8. He did go 4-2 with the Steelers, but it really says a lot that the Steelers opted to bench him and roll with Russell Wilson. Even towards the end of the last year, when Russell Wilson wasn't playing well at all, they just still elected to roll with Russell Wilson and not go back to Fields. So I think that right there says a lot by itself. So I don't really care for the Justin Fields prediction. I think that I just don't understand what it would do for you. I think, I guess I don't know like what they said about it in the actual article, but if I had to guess, I would say that they would say he's a cheap option that could provide you some possible potential to become your long-term starter depending on how he plays. But again, I don't like it. And reading some of these comments on this, well, this guy says, would take this in a heartbeat for a short-term contract over the options currently on the roster. Again, like, would I rather have Justin Fields or Derek Carr? I'd rather have Justin Fields. Now, would I rather have Justin Fields or see what Spencer Rattler can do? I'd rather see what Spencer Rattler can do, right? This guy says zero chance, zero. Got a little meme here. Um, I have an idea for what the Saints can do. Okay. Obviously, we got the Ohio State lineup here: Chris Olave, Garrett Wilson, Justin Fields. Garrett, that is kind of a underlying storyline there, I guess, with Justin Fields playing with Chris Olave at Ohio State. So they got some kind of built-in chemistry there. This guy says we have Rattler, so we are good. I agree, buddy. Well, I don't know if we're good, but we can possibly see if we're good there. I can't emphasize enough how happy this would make me, but I just know with Loomis in charge, the Saints will stick with Carr, and I'll be miserable again. That right there, you are probably right, buddy. So, little mixed reaction to this prediction for the Saints and the Justin Fields possible connection. I'm not a fan of it, but if they think it can make the team better, then go for it, right? But interestingly enough, someone actually asked Nick Underhill about it, right? Nick Underhill, Saints reporter, New Orleans football or New Orleans football. There's not a reporter that covers the Saints that is more in the know than Nick Underhill. So somebody says, Nick, any story coming about ESPN predicting Fields to the Saints and Carr to the Jets? And he says, nothing to add to that. I still think Derek is the Saints starter in week one. And, if Nick is saying something like this and he is predicting something like this, then it is probably like an 80% chance that it is law, right? So take that for what you will. Hopefully Nick is wrong in this case, because I do not want to watch another year of Derek Carr, right? And judging by some of these comments on this post, I think the majority might agree with me, right? Come on, Nick, give us some kind of hope. Bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him. Why? Why? Heartbreak emoji. Personally, I think we just need to let the shit burn for 1 year. Move on from Carr, take the hit now and be done with it. Start Rattler preferably and see what you have with a healthy offense. Then, if that fails, go after a quarterback next year with your higher draft pick and cap to build around. I think this right here is like the perfect scenario. And I've talked about it a lot on this channel. I think this is exactly what you have to do. Cut your losses with with Carr. See what happens in the year without him. Start healthy, or start Rattler with a healthy offense, and see what you have with him. Who knows? You know what I'm saying? Year two, um, he's more up to speed with NFL game speed, and just see what he can do with actual wide receivers that he's throwing to. You know, and then it says if it fails, go after quarterback next year. Because I mean, best case scenario, he looks good, and you have your quarterback for the future. Worst case scenario is you are horrible. He's horrible. The team is horrible, and then you're already in another position to draft a quarterback with a high pick anyway. So it's kind of like a almost like a win-win situation, even if one of those wins consists of you losing. But you get the point, right? His lack of presence in NOLA is troubling. If he's a starter, everyone knows that city will love you if you love it. The fact that he wasn't around for anything during the Super Bowl, but more so wasn't there to welcome his new offensive head coach is a bad look. He's lost the fans, and I was one. I've seen a lot of like people actually upset with Derek Carr about not being around during the Super Bowl week, and it is something that bothers me too because if you look at it, if you look at all the people that were there, Spencer Rattler was there. He was doing media during the Super Bowl week in New Orleans. Drew Brees was there doing media. Sean Payton. I mean, if Sean Payton can come back he's the head coach for the Broncos, and he comes back and he's representing for the city, doing media, doing all kinds of stuff. Um, for New Orleans, where was Derek Carr? Right? It's not like a huge deal, but it is something that kind of just irks you a little bit in the back of your mind because again, like he has to know that the a lot of the fans just don't care for him, and I feel like that would be a way for him to at least earn some kind of brownie points, right? Like show up during Super Bowl week, represent the city, represent the team, wear a Saints jumpsuit or hat around, walk around, just like the bare minimum. The bare minimum at this point, I think, is what people are asking for, and you know, him not being there to welcome his new offensive head coach is a bad look. I don't disagree with that either. I think that would have been a great look if he was there to support his new head coach, especially one that is um, on the offensive side of things. So, all in all, it kind of just is what it is. Um, Derek Carr just doesn't really seem to fit in well with the city, if we're being quite honest. So, um, this is why Loomis needs to go. He's holding our future hostage. Fields could be the guy, and if not, at least he's young with upside, and we can make a limited commitment. We know what Carr is. He's expensive, and we aren't contenders, and there's no reason for him to be on the roster. Again, like I don't disagree with this at all. I don't really think Fields is the guy to come in, but um, I think he would be a better option than just sticking with Carr again when you know what Carr is. I think we know what Fields is too, but I still think there's obviously a higher chance of there being an untapped potential in Justin Fields than there is in Derek Carr. We know what Derek Carr is. He's been in the league over 10 years now. He loses football games, and he'll win just enough to miss the playoffs. So, all in all, not a huge fan of the Justin Fields prediction, but if it means that that's the only way the Saints can move on from Derek Carr, if they would rather Justin Fields, then hey, I'm all for it. But I'd rather just roll with Spencer Rattler and see what we got there. But the fact that Nick Underhill is alluding to he believes that Derek Carr will still be the Saints starter in week one, yeah, not great. Not great for the brand because I don't know if my mental health can take another year of watching Derek Carr, uh, you know, dance around in the pocket and do his thing. Appreciate you guys watching. Peace.